Hello, everyone. Good
Good
morning. Good morning. Welcome to Vishwa Talks. My name is Srivani. Thank you, each of you, for attending today's event. For those of you who have attended Vishwa Talks before, a very warm welcome to you. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, here's a little bit about ourselves. Vishwa Talks is an initiative by Vishwa Foundation. Vishwa.org is an online platform for everyday change makers and social champions. It's a crowdsourcing and crowd funding platform that is aimed at helping any of you to find support that you need in your efforts, that you see around you, that you feel that you're not okay with, and you want to make a difference. And you want to solve those problems for yourself or for others, or for the world to be a better place. Vishwa Talks is a series of weekly webinars hosted every Saturday that are focused on gaining an in-depth knowledge from experts on a wide range of topics that are pertinent to the current context. Our speaker today is Ms. Gayatri Uppalapati, a consultant counseling psychologist and trainer. Ms. Gayatri's love for psychology started on the day she attended her first class in psychology as part of her bachelor's degree program at St. Joseph's. It's the zeal to understand and explore herself that kept her hooked to the field. Attaining degrees in psychology was a breeze for her. She has done her MA, MPhil in counseling psychology from Andhra University in 2005, Masters in Human Resources Management from Symbiosis Center for Distance Learning, Pune in 2015. She has been working in the field of counseling and training for 13 years. And the love for the subject continues to motivate her to explore the opportunities related to the field where she can be of help to others. She has worked with ICFI Business School, District Rural Development Agency, Aditya Birla Retail Limited, Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverage Private Limited, as a behavioral trainer and psychologist. She's a certified Dale Carnegie trainer. She's currently working as a consultant counseling psychologist and trainer with 3 organizations based out of Hyderabad and 3 organizations pan-India. She looks at counseling training experience as an exchange of perspectives and a continuous learning process where learning is a two-way process. Now, before we get started, I'd like to mention that our speaker will be taking questions at the end of this session. Each of you who are interested can either raise your hands or you can put your questions in the chat box. And there are a few questions that some of you all have put prior to the event has begun on various social medias. We will be addressing those also, if they are not already addressed. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Uppalapati to please start today's Vishwa Talk.
Thank you, Srivani ma'am. It's so nice to hear someone speak about me. Yeah, I welcome all of you to the webinar, which is specifically for women. Although my intention was to have men around because mental health about women can never be worked alone. It always needs men to be around. We need to understand both the perspectives, and that's when we'll go hand in hand together. So I'm happy to see few men around in the audience. I was actually seeing the audience while Srivani ma'am was actually talking. So happy to see men around, and you guys are like, the change makers, the change makers, because you didn't initially think that this is specifically for women. Why do I need it? You guys joined. So thank you so much, all of you, for taking this first step towards loving yourself, because I think knowledge about mental health, knowledge about how to handle several situations when life doesn't go the way we want it to be is always essential. Whether you take a step to change it or not, that's a different issue. but gathering knowledge is actually the first step, and this webinar is one such step. Thank you so much. Without further ado, I think we'll go into the presentation. So how many of you have seen the topic, and what do you think it is about? I think you can put me in the chat box whatever you thought about, the moment you read the topic. What is it that came to your mind, basically? Okay, you can keep giving me the responses. I'll move on. I think society in general and family in specific has a lot of mouths. When I say mouths, there are too many boxes for us. Like, I'll have to fit into this. I'll have to be like this. Only then I'll be considered perfect, especially for women. I'll have to balance my roles. I'll have to take care of the home. Okay, the responses are coming in. It's okay to be an odd man out. Excellent, excellent, Vamsi. Yes, it is okay to be an odd man out because that's the strength. And unfortunately, the society actually puts in a lot of pressure on us. There are a lot of stereotypes. There are a lot of do's and don'ts that everybody tells us when we live in a society, and we also know about it from the family. So this presentation is basically to understand what are these mouths. These mouths are different for women, different for men, different for children, but everybody has mouths which are defined. And why should we try to fit into the mold? And what happens if we don't fit in? What are the consequences? And how do we get this whole thing out of our mind that, the boxes are given to me, but it is ultimately my choice whether I really want to go by this or not is my choice. So how to access that power of choice? I think that would be the focus. And you can also ask me a lot of questions on how towards the end, because I think how always helps. It all starts with trial and error, right? Nothing works. Especially, I think if I give my personal experience here, I believe in trial and error. When it comes to a presentation or when it comes to choosing a topic, it's always about trial and error. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's definitely a learning experience. So you guys have to ask me a lot of questions on how, and that's where, my experience as a counselor will help you. And you can also learn a lot about how you can take away the tips from me or my own experience. Now what do you think is the box? Akhilesh will stay on the slide. Yeah. What do you think is the box that is given for women? What do you think is the box given for women? This is a long going debate. The society says that, it's a woman who can break or keep the family together. Such a big responsibility, right? Like the moment I read it, I'm like, why am I held responsible? I don't want to be a breaker, neither I want to keep the family together. I just want to be myself. That's what I got. No, I felt when I read this. But this is how the box is defined for the woman. Now, for the girls who are unmarried, they might think this is more like for married women. How can I relate to this? You guys grow up looking at your mothers, sisters, aunts, doing their roles at home, whether they are homemakers or whether they step out of the house. You see how they handle home and work outside, or probably only home, and how they beautifully manage things around home, family. So you learn by seeing them. Okay. And sometimes it builds your own narratives about how the woman is supposed to be. That's how you learn it. It's more of observational learning. And you also learn from how the male partners, be it spouses or brothers or any male person in the family, actually deals with women. So that's how you have your own narratives or themes about men in specific from your family in your mind, which actually plays a lot of important role. You never realize it then. You only think that you're gathering information about how a woman is supposed to be, how a man is supposed to be. But this information or this knowledge comes up to the surface when you actually get into an intimate relationship. That's when you understand the themes and narratives. All right. And sometimes it comes across in friendships, sometimes it comes across in the brother sister relationships also. There are a lot of clients who say that, I fight with my parents as to, why am I the only one who's told to come home on time? Why is it that, he gets to spend outside a lot of time and you guys never even follow it up with it? And few clients even argue that, why am I supposed to work in the kitchen while he get to, like, come from college, watch a movie, or whatever he wants to do, he can do, while I don't have to feed him? So there are a lot of struggles that start there. So the presentation today would be focusing on not just the mouths for women. I will also be drawing parallels as to how it gives mouths for children, for men, because it's always important to understand the mouths for children and men also, because as women we don't operate independently, right? Like, we are not the only people living in this world, right? We have men around, we have children around, and tomorrow when we get married, tomorrow you guys when you get married, and when you have to handle a household, and men and children, you'll also have to understand what is the conditioning then that went into bringing up a man, and the same conditioning can I take it forward in bringing up my child. This is a very important learning point. Like, if I'm not okay with something, I'm not okay with the society's practices since a long time, I'm not okay with certain parenting experiences, then you should always question yourself when you actually get into that role. That means when you become a parent, you actually need to ask yourself, is this what I want to do? I had a different thought then. So is this what I want to do? So you constantly you need to ask yourself this question, and learning is very, very important at any point of time. So society says it's a woman who can break or keep the family together, while the woman says that, it's a family who can break or make me, if they make me feel included. This is specifically about women who get married and need to be welcomed into a new family. That family is completely strangers. Sometimes if it's a love marriage, sometimes the guy, but definitely not the family. So a woman will always thrive in an environment where she's welcomed, where she's included. That's when she would feel that she's loved, wanted, respected, and all of that follows. And that's when she becomes part of your family, and she would own it. Owning is a very important word, guys. It's very important for a woman to own the family that she has gotten into. Similarly, it's very important for the guy also to own the woman's family. So that's how it functions. All right. Now I will throw a question across to the men who are here. I've just put across on the slide that this is the mold that is given to women. What do you think is the mold given to men by society? Let's see what you say. I love more of interaction. Although there is a structure in the form of PPT, I can always do away with my slides and talk. Just interact with your guys, because that's what I believe in. As a trainer, interaction helps. Wow, Amsi, you are nailing it. Yeah, second one. Men should not cry. Absolutely. We started from little boys, right? When they start crying, I do it to my son also at times, and then I realize, like, okay, I'm not supposed to say that, but I'm doing it. So I take back, instantly you need to pause and reflect, and then think, like, what am I doing? Yes, we tell our children not to cry, especially men. Be strong and not express the full range of emotions. Why? What's wrong? They're also human beings. So men don't have emotions, is it? So you guys don't have emotions when you grow up. How do you deal with them? We do have, yes, because we are humans. We're supposed to feel. And how do you deal? Because you were told as a child that you are not supposed to express emotions, that doesn't go hand in hand with your masculinity. So what do men do? Excellent, Riyaz Khan. Thank you so much. They bottle it up. This is how the boxes that are given by society in general and family in specific has messed it up with women in a particular way and men in particular ways. For the man, it is like, you are the head of the family. You can't show emotions. You'll have to be a breadwinner. you'll have to be a protector. So these are a lot of myths around men. And also the biggest messing up factor here is you can't cry, you can't show your emotions, you need to bottle them up, otherwise you would be not man enough. I think that goes hand in hand, right? So this is how it has messed up the men. With the women, it has made them doubtful about themselves. It has made them look for approval and acceptance from people around them. The women look for a lot of validation, reassurance, and approval. That's how the society's norms have actually messed them up. They never brought them up to believe in themselves. Although the parenting strategies of late are changing and people are bringing in a lot of difference in the way they are actually bringing up boys and girls, but still we're still messing up with the way we are bringing up our men and women. Now, when these men and women grow up to be adults, and when they have their own children, how do you think our society or family in specific messes up with children? How do you think we define their boxes? What do we tell our children? What are the do's and don'ts for them? Again, I'm looking at the chat box and I'm enjoying it. Oh, Swati, that's a wonderful response. It applies to simplest things like color. Men are mocked if they wear pink and blue. Yes. We mess up with children in terms of telling them that, with a boy child, we definitely tell them that you're not supposed to cry, you're supposed to behave like this, don't show too many emotions. Even sometimes, clients do tell me that, they're very particular when the guy is actually becoming friends with girls. That's also there. And the guys don't have the restrictions in terms of time. They're okay, in some households, that's how they look at. But for girls, there are restrictions, like they have to come on time. These days, these are also changing, but still few households do follow. So we do give these boxes, define these boxes for our children also. And emotional expressions in children is also not welcome. Supposing, just imagine if a child just, is taken to a supermarket and he suddenly starts falling on the floor, and he tries to get his mother's attention because she refused to buy something that he wanted. And immediately, that there is a lot of shame that the mother or the father experience. The first thing is like, just behave yourself, people are looking around, right? So the behave yourself pattern, you shouldn't laugh aloud, you should behave. When you go to relatives places, that there's a particular way to behave. You can't take things without asking them. So there are a lot of definitions for children also, which make them basically very emotional. It's just that they don't know how to handle those emotions. All right. So as part of this presentation, I want all of you to understand that when we are actually when we are actually trying to understand these boxes, we are drawing a parallel and trying to hit the mid ground, because these norms have been there since the time that we are aware of, or much before. So when we try to question this, which is actually the first step for change, but when we start to question too much, over a period of time, there is a lot of stress that one goes through because nobody has questions for certain of them. So I would say that we need to hit a mid ground. We need to look at the neutral area, not look at it like a black and white, like a woman is supposed to be like this, the man is supposed to be like this. Let's understand perspectives, and let's try to draw a parallel in terms of mid ground, the gray shades. And I'll always tell you as a practitioner that gray shades actually help us. Operating in gray shades actually empowers us as human beings. It helps us practice empathy, because when we are comfortable with our own gray shades, we become comfortable with other people's gray shades as well, right? So let's understand more of these boxes and how to break them towards the end of it. That's the agenda. Move on. Most of us these days, by the time we move on, I'm actually starting off with the other slide. These days, there are multiple roles that actually all of us carry, whether it is a man or a woman, even child. Because children are put into so many courses these days. They go to karate, they go to art, they practice music. Then there is school, they practice their homework. So there are too many activities for children also. So there are a lot of balancing. There's a lot of balancing work that is happening. They're trying to juggle between a lot of things. Usually, this particular slide is about women. Usually, women, whether it is homemakers, whether it is working professionals and homemakers and adolescent girls or children, usually people have common themes that they come up with when they come for counseling sessions. They try to live up to this ideal in their mind, like I'm supposed to be, or I would be considered perfect only when I do this, only when I balance home, only when my house is sparkling clean all the time, only when I cook elaborate meals to my family, only when I keep them happy. This is a very underlying statement for women, like I'll have to keep everybody happy, only then I would be perfect. And aren't perfect women so attractive? Yes, definitely they are very attractive, but they don't exist, right? So that's the most important thing that we need to keep in mind, that perfection only happens in our mind. There is no perfection in action, because that doesn't exist. We all evolve as people. If you look at yourself a couple of years back, you will understand that you have changed, because everybody changed, right? We evolve, we change, even in minute scale, but we do change over a period of time. So it is very important for us to understand that there is nothing called perfect. It's just about becoming comfortable with our own imperfections, and we would be okay even if someone says that you're a very bad homemaker. We would be okay for that moment. Yeah, I am a very bad homemaker, so if I just want to relax today, I haven't done anything, any chore around the house is not sparkling clean, the clothes are lying there, the dishes are not done, or probably I haven't followed it up with the maid. I'm just lazing around and watching movie, and if someone says that you've become too lazy, that's fine. For today, that's how I am, that's how I want to be. So again, the parallel here is between what society or the family expects me to be versus what if I don't fit in? What if for a day or a week I just want to rest? So resting is actually not resting. Women all the time ask me this question when they come for counseling, but can I rest? Can I take a break? Especially mothers, they tend to ask me if I can take a break. Is it okay? Recently I've had a case where the woman is actually 25-year-old. She's a mother of twins, and she has a flourishing career. She's gotten best employee in one of the best organizations in Hyderabad, and she has a well-paid job. And she started developing depression since the last 2 years, because she started feeling a disconnect, like I've become a mother, I have to balance work. She's a thorough perfectionist, she wants to do everything perfectly. So she started developing depression because she started thinking that I'm just lost in my roles, and there are too many things. There's a lot of there's a checklist in my mind all the time. So I just want to relax, I just want to be myself. That's when she came to me, and then the first thing that she asks me is, can I take a break? Is this okay? Will it help my depression? I said, whether it helps your depression, whether it doesn't, we will talk about it in a while. But the first thing that you need to do is, when you feel overwhelmed, handling a lot of roles, I think without a doubt, you deserve a break. This is especially for women, whether working, whether homemakers. You need to take a break. I think you need to decide whether you need a break or not. If you give away the power to someone else, whether you ask your husband, or whether you ask your mother-in-law, or whether you ask your sister-in-law, or the list goes on. If you keep asking all of them, they can never ever decide for you, because it is you who knows what you're going through, right? Your emotions are felt by you, not by any of them. So if you feel like taking rest, I think you should go ahead and take it without a bit of guilt. You deserve it. And the other theme which often emerges with counseling or during counseling with women is, am I selfish if I prioritize myself? So their concept of self-love and selfishness is merged. I think that also goes back to the conditioning that we are given since children, that you need to take care of the family, you need to prioritize them, you need to understand them, and most importantly, you need to keep them happy. Always remember, women, you don't have to keep anybody happy, you have to keep yourself happy. Please remember that, because someone else's happiness is definitely not in your hands, and you shouldn't be also, you shouldn't be in control of someone else's happiness. They are responsible for their happiness. So you should stop doing that and only believe in making yourself happy and sticking to loving yourself. What happens in the process, when you actually love yourself, it is very liberating, because you're very clear in every situation what is it that you want and what is it that you don't want. You're very clear about it. So your decision making becomes easy as your priorities are in place. And when you are at peace and happy about yourself for the way you are, naturally you'll be spreading the same happiness to all the people around you. Trust me, the best relationship we have is with self. And if we are very happy and content in our own space, no matter how imperfect we are, if we are happy in our own space, trust me, you will spread this happiness to your children. You will spread this happiness to your parents. If you're an adolescent girl, you will spread happiness to your friends. You will spread happiness to your spouse, and the list goes on. So the focus is always on self-love, and self-love is definitely not being selfish. I am only prioritizing myself over others, and I'm trying to weigh, am I investing in myself and am I investing in other relationships also? So investment in self is very, very important, and that's a crucial factor and acts as a protective factor for your mental health. Often the question that comes up with in the session is also about what will others think. Now, this is one common question that I have put, which is common for both men and women also. There's a lot of questioning or thoughts in their mind as to what will others think, right? Like the example that I've already given, in case if the child gets a little more active in the supermarket and he tries to grab your attention or tries to get to say you yes for whatever he wants, the first thing is I look around and I the other people are watching, just behave. So there is a lot of pressure always on our head as to the kind of image that we are creating for ourselves in others' mind. And this is the biggest pressure. It is bigger. The pressure is bigger than the emotional baggage. The pressure is bigger than the pain that you have or the pain that life puts through you. It's bigger than any pain one can experience. And this is the first step. Like the moment I start putting this in mind, what will others think, there ends the matter. Definitely the pain is on its way. And this is how we are conditioned, because we're always told that you need to think what others are thinking about you. So this is the first mold that both men, women, and children need to break. Let them think whatever they have to, but you need to be comfortable with your own self. That's the first step. All right, we'll do a small activity here before we move on. I'm hoping that all of you have pen and paper. I would just want you to draw whatever I ask you to draw on paper. Please don't worry about it, okay? It's just a fun activity and break from the regular session. That's it. So the first picture that I want you to draw is a house. The first picture that I want you to draw is a house. The second picture that you need to draw is that of a person. And this time the pen should be in left hand. Like if you're a right hander, please transfer your pen to left hand. And if you're a left hander, transfer your pen to right hand. The next one, close your eyes. Keep the pen in the left hand if you're a right hander, and right hand if you're a left hander. Close your eyes and draw a cat. Excellent. So which one did you enjoy the most? Which one did you enjoy the most? The house, person, or the cat? I would, thank you so much. Cat. Everybody says cat, 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 cat. See, that is what pressure does to us. You know, in the last picture, I have said, close your eyes and put your pen into a hand which is non-dominant. That means if you're a right hander, put it into left, and if you're a left hander, put it into your right. So the pressure is taken off your mind, right? As it is a non-dominant hand. What will I draw? And then I have closed my eyes, and then it is a cat. To draw a cat with open eyes itself is difficult for many of us, at least for me. And to draw it with closed eyes and then your non-dominant hand, it is so, fine. You know, why the pressure is taken away from us and why we actually enjoyed drawing a cat? Because we know that everybody will do the same. Nobody can do it that perfectly. So it's okay. I will not be the odd man out. Everybody will be, alike. All our performances would be alike. So I would say, enjoy your life, taking this pressure away from your head as to what other people are thinking. If you can just take this away, just this one step, and constantly remind yourself that, I'm not worried about what others think about me. I want to enjoy my life like the way I enjoyed drawing a cat. I think, guys, that's like the first step. You just need to do it to feel it. Done. Now, there is a beautiful question which came up in the chat box, which I would which I would want to address, where the guest has put that, why don't we enroll boys for classical dance classes? Why is it that we put them only to karate or other classes which are specifically for boys? Why do we do it? And girls are put into music classes or dance classes. See, these are again gender stereotypes. Just like the way we said, boys are associated with blue and girls are associated with pink. Boys are told not to cry. It's not, be a man. You can't cry or show up your emotions. And girls are told that you can't laugh aloud or, behave. So these are all called stereotypes. So we are all conditioned. These are the boxes, which tell us how to behave. And these are the boxes that we need to break in order to feel good about ourselves. All right. So we'll go back into the presentation. One of the guests has just put a question like, perfection will never come until you do it. There is a difference between perfection and excellence, guys. Perfection puts pressure on you. Like when you were drawing a house, when you were drawing a tree, there is still pressure, especially when if I actually ask you to show your houses, all our houses would be alike, perfect straight lines, the windows, it would be alike. I don't have to look at it. Now that is called perfection, where I want to be alike, where I don't want to be different. And excellence is something where we enjoy the process. It's more like cat. I enjoyed the process, whether I'm coming up with a perfect cat or whether I'm coming with a nice cat or a funny cat. I really didn't focus on the result. I'm focusing on being in tune with the process. I'm mindful about the process and I enjoy it. So always, perfection versus excellence is a choice. Perfection is negative. It has a negative impact on you. Excellence, striving for excellence actually puts up a lot of positivity in your mind. All right. So let's move on. Now you'll have to tell me, what do you see here? Girl with cap, what else? Okay, someone's just put in a message saying I'm not audible. Am I audible to all of you? I think the guest, whoever has put in a message saying that I'm not audible, you can say yes. Okay, good. Yeah, so someone sees an old woman, a lady, what else? A lady not worried about what others think. Excellent. Yeah, someone is taking my presentation to the core. All right. Okay. There are two women here in the same picture. One, a young lady, you can only see the profile, she's just turned sideways. So you can just see the nose and the eyelashes. There is also old woman. If you can just hide the little bit of nose, the tip of the nose, and the eyelashes, you can see the old lady, the entire profile, like the nose, the chin, the mouth, everything. Okay. Now, why this picture? Okay, someone already said it, like, it's actually perspective. This is actually perspective. Like, for every situation, there are two sides to a coin. There is always the other side that we are not aware. So it's important to have a perspective. It's important to understand that there is always the other side, and this brings about a spontaneity in the situation where you're emotional. And this applies to women, men, and children. Supposing if I'm just making a remark, or I just want to say something, I pause, I reflect. The moment I tell myself, like, what is there in that person's mind? What is he trying to communicate? What are they trying to tell me in the situation? So if I'm just trying to think about the other side, a lot of emotions we can take a pause on the emotional flow, and we can actually reflect. So perspective in any situation is very, very important. And always remember, it is not easy to gain perspective just like that. We can't see both the sides just like that. Why do I say this? I'll have to bring in couples context here. Often when I counsel couples, husband and wife, when they come for counseling sessions together, when they talk about their partner's problems, they can go on for length. They can go on at length. They can talk for an hour also, until and unless I stop them. It comes out very easily because they play the victim and they actually blame the partner. Now, whether it is women or men, there are differences again, because men are very brief in their communication. They do blame, but they are very brief in the communication and they keep it very specific. But women, because we are emotional people, we tend to talk a little more, but both compare, both judge, both talk about the other partners mostly. So I, as a couple counselor, what I do is, after the first session, in the first session, I need to listen to them because they need to talk about their emotions. But from the second session onwards, I stop them and I ask them to do a role reversal. Like, now you're not going to blame your husband or, play a victim. You're going to blame yourself. So you're going to tell me how you are contributing to the problems in the relationship. So can you just say that, I as Riya has done this, or I as Sangeeta has done this, or I as Harsha has done this? That's a man's perspective. So I make both of them do a role reversal and talk about their problems, their mistakes, their concerns. And trust me, guys, when they are blaming the other person, they can talk for hours together. But when they have to talk about themselves, I think you will just they just speak for about hardly a minute or two, not more than that. It becomes that difficult for them. So why am I telling this here is, often you need to understand that, especially this is in the context of marriage, because this is where the entire boxing starts, right? Because I tend to put my children into box and they start taking this box ahead of fitting in. So when it comes to marriage, you need to understand that you're not married to a man or a woman. You're actually married to a baggage, so, and this has been coming since a long time. You have just gotten into their life, but they have their own baggage of 25 years or 22 years by whatever age that you get married, or more than that, 30 years. So you always need to understand, in the first few years, always ask yourself this question: am I seeing the other side? Can I just listen to him, listen without attacking? Can I just listen to her without attacking? Can I just ask her what is it that she wants? So always ask yourself, is she talking from conditioning, which is the box that I'm talking from, the mold that is given to me by society, or is it my personality? So you'll always have to look for the conditioning, because in the initial few years, it's always the conditioning, which interacts. Only after few years, the influence of the family, the influence of the conditioning of society in general breaks, and they kind of emerge out of it, right? So we'll move on. Judgment builds rigidity. We become very rigid. We don't look at the other side. But when we are actually practicing empathy, we look at the other side. Shall we move on? We'll move on. Yes, this is the last slide that I'm going to close the presentation with. We'll have all four of them. We'll go further. Yeah. Okay. Always remember, this is the how. Like, how should I break these molds? Always remember what social conditioning does to you is it makes you feel that, you know, you are not okay. You're constantly told by the other person that you are not okay. Something is not okay with you. You need to be fixed. The problem needs to be resolved. So as a result, we start feeling very low about ourselves. Our self-esteem and self-worth comes down. We try to blame ourselves and we start to please others. You know, people pleasing starts from this area, because I feel that I'm not worthy enough of the love and acceptance. I want to, like, you know, please others, because that is the only way that I can hold them together. So I am okay, but you are not okay actually puts a lot of pressure, and this is the mold that you need to break. And this is how you'll have to remind yourself that if I am following the box that they are giving me, then I am actually, you know, in for a trouble, because I am going to, like, lose myself in the process, and I'm only going to please others all the time. So you will not like yourself no matter what you have achieved, because you lose yourself in the process, right? Who would want that? When slowly what happens is we'll start believing that I am okay, because that's the battle. I am okay, you are not okay. Now, this is again dangerous. Most of the time, I keep wondering that, you know, clients go through so much of shame and pain. How can people inflict shame on one another? You know, when especially women talk about their mother-in-law, you know, inflicting pain, or mothers inflicting pain, or a few women even talk about being abused sexually by their fathers, and they couldn't open up and talk to their mothers about it because mother was not receptive. So there are huge cases or database wherein people talk about how shame is inflicted on them. So I often keep wondering as to, you know, as humans, all of us are good, but how are we managing to inflict so much of pain on other person? Why are we not able to empathize? Why are we not able to understand? Yes, few cases are exceptions, but even in regular cases, like, why don't we see women supporting themselves? You know, if a woman who comes back from work who's tired, why doesn't the mother-in-law just say that, you know, I'll make a cup of coffee and give it to you? Few households have them, but few households don't. Or what if the mother-in-law just tells the son that, you know, get yourself a glass of water, she's also tired the whole day, she's also working around the house? What if she just tells her son? So liberating, right? So sometimes we'll just have to think about how we can look at the other side, how not to blame the other person, and how not to impinge shame on others. There is a lot of context to this, wherein, you know, there is rural versus urban differences, there is educational differences, but shaming and pain is all across, you know. There is no difference that I have seen as a clinician. It happens whether it is rural or urban, or educated, uneducated, women, working professionals, people staying at home, girls. It happens across all phases and to everybody. The last phase, this is a progress. You know, initially someone tells you're not okay, I am okay, and then I start believing that I am not okay and you are okay, and finally I move into I am not okay and you are not okay. And this is the place where suicide happens. This is the place where the person loses hope, because he thinks nobody understands me and I also can't understand myself. So saw how we actually move from one section to other section, and we kind of slowly become very lonely and disconnected. So we always need to understand that nobody is as unique as you are. Nobody is as special as you are. Please keep this slide as a reference. You know, the moment I'm starting to please the other person, then itself I need to tell myself that my end stage is wherein I will not like myself. I will not like someone who's putting pain, on me as well, so why take the first step itself? So I'll just be myself no matter what it is. In few cases, I'm not saying like, drastically bring change in all steps, but start with one step. Decide what you want to do in few areas at least. Like you can say that I want to take up this course, I'm not okay with going into science and I can't relate to it, let me take up art. You can say that I still want time for marriage, I don't want to get married yet. You can say that, I'm not ready to get pregnant yet. You can just say that, I'm not ready for this child if you're really not. You can actually take these small steps, and that actually liberates you from a lot of pain. Opening up about your shame stories actually help, and always go to women. I would always say, if you're looking for someone who listens to your emotions, then your husband shouldn't be the first person to talk to. It should be a woman friend, because they can actually listen to your emotions, right? And men are conditioned that way, right? When they can't process their emotions, how will they listen to your emotions? So just have friends who are women whom you can talk out to, and then take that ahead with your husband to discuss as to how you want to do it. So have your own network. I think I'm done.
And while taking this survey, I would like to say a little bit of Vishwa Talks. Vishwa Talks is a space to expand the horizons of our minds. Every webinar, we call experts from different domains to discuss, to examine, to all our opinions, our issues, our problems, our perspectives. Each webinar is an interactive session where we all walk away with more respect for each other and a deeper understanding about the topic at our hands. Most of us had joint family systems. We had friends who used to just walk in and walk out of our homes. Whenever we had a problem, we used to talk to them. And we always had someone to guide us in the old days. But now, with more nuclear families, there are so many myths going around. And that is why we are coming out with these special talks, so that we can bring about awareness in society. A lot of topics that are more relevant to our current situations are being brought to y'all. If any of y'all feel that in any of the causes that Vishwa.org is looking at, y'all would like to add, we would like to talk on this, we would like to have a talk on that, please feel free to put it in our chat box or write mails to us. And I would like to say our first fundraiser with Roshni Trust is now complete. The contribution, Roshni Trust is a 50-year-old trust. It has it has supported 50,000 patients over the last 25 years. And we had come out with a program called Wheels of Change, where they were taking vans to doorsteps. And this is now being funded by Biological Events. A special thanks to Biological Events for that. And we now have two fresh fundraisers. One is from Mr. Katari Venkat Krishna. He has been supporting his school, his small government school in a small village in Akvidu Mandal, Pedakapavaram village in West Godavari district. It was a school which was in a very bad shape, which was going to be shut down. There were more than 400 students. They decided to shut it down, and they said, okay, students can go 3 kilometers away. Most parents wouldn't have sent their daughters 3 kilometers away alone. So it was a very bad situation, and Mr. Katari has taken it upon himself. He's done a wonderful job. Can you show the pictures, Akhilesh? He's renovated the whole school from an old dilapidated building to a big, fresh building where people were sitting on the floor. He's bought benches. The grounds were like mushy. He now made them properly usable. And he has one request. He says, may we have a drinking water facility, please. And it's not too much. It's probably 3.5 lakhs. He would be very happy if someone, either from the village or someone who would like to contribute to a government school where in a small village, it would be great. Another fundraiser we have is from Auroville Foundation, from one Miss Oronevi. Now, she's a German lady born and brought up in Tamil Nadu. They've taken 30 acres of barren land and made it into a lush forest with water flowing through it, with so many animals, insects, birds. Last 15 years, they've been working with their hands. These are people, these are change makers who have given a lifetime to service, who have spent their money. And these are the people that Vishwa would like to support. And these are the people which Vishwa is requesting you to support. They are looking out for an excavator, because all these days, all the digging they've done on this 30 acres was with their hands. Now it's, all of them are growing. So they would request any of you to please, or share it with people who you know who are in the capacity, whether it is an IT company, whether it's a pharma company, whether it's a corporate with CSR funding. Please share this requirement with them and share us the details so that we could approach them. This is our request, and with this, we would like to close today's event. Thank you so much, and each of you could continue with your question and answers. Thank you. So if anybody has any questions, you all can raise your hands, or we will pick up the questions from the notes, from the chats.
I will address them from the chat box itself. Self-reflection is very difficult. Excellent. I'm giving you a quick tip here. You will have to always make a triangle, which is why am I thinking, or what am I thinking? How am I feeling, and how am I behaving? So how do I get the link between my thoughts, feeling, and behavior? I need to put it down on paper, then ask myself the question why. Just ask myself the question why. Supposing I, as a homemaker, I'm yelling at my children and I'm not liking it, then why am I yelling at them? Instantly, the answer would be, whenever I'm physically exhausted, I'm yelling at them. So it's not actually for their mistake. If I'm physically exhausted, I'm yelling at them. So how can I not get physically exhausted? So just keep asking yourself the why question to reach out to the reason as to why you're yelling at them. And that's how form a link between your thoughts, behavior, and feelings. And if men need to talk, beautiful, men actually need to talk. It is very empowering. Men need to cry, men need to talk, men need to open up about their emotions. And you need to go to a friend who's a girl, or you need to go to your wife, and these are the best people who can listen to for hours together, or at least for brief time that you're ready to open up. So you just need to talk.
Yes, Mrs. Gayatri, you can continue. It looks like there are many messages.
Yeah, I have this interesting question from the chat box. Most women don't listen to their husbands, so how can we convince them? Yes, we do have women who don't listen to men. So the first thing that we need to understand is, as I already said, it depends upon the number of years that you are married for, because the initial few years, it's the conditioning which interacts, because you come from a different home, she comes from a different home. So it's very important to understand the baggage. So if you feel that this has been a long time problem, I think you will need professional help, definitely, to give both of you a neutral perspective. A few of you have asked me, how can we consult you? You can consult me by reaching out to Roshni. That's where I work. So you can reach out to Roshni and through that to me. This is beautiful again. We are all unique. We are all special. I would always use this with my clients that, when we go for taking an ECG, ECG is up and down a wavy line, right? And similarly, our brain also, EEG, which is an electroencephalogram, that's also like a wavy pattern. Would we want a straight line on our ECG? If we are supposing taking a ECG, we see, no, that, would we want to go for a straight line on our ECG? Definitely no, we're dead. So I always tell my clients that life actually is a wavy pattern. It's never a straight line. But we are hell-bent upon, stretching it from both the sides to make it a straight line. So just remember this: when heart understands the wavy pattern, the mind understands the wavy pattern. Why not my life? It's just about me adapting to the wavy pattern, the ups and downs. Oh, that's an emotional message. After my divorce, this workshop made my eyes moist. That's a very emotional message. I think, you still need to work upon yourself after divorce as well. It is very important because divorce by itself takes a toll on you. So whether it is a man or a woman, I think you will need sessions after your divorce just to work on yourself, reset your goals, and you're back into action. Ma'am, we would also like talks for youth who have single parents. Excellent. Yes, we will definitely work on that. We need to understand and respect others' personal space. Guys, please understand that this personal space concept is itself merged. Nobody has ever told us that you need to prioritize your space. They were always told, women are told that, you need to prioritize others as part of upbringing, and men are told that, you need to bottle up your emotions. So the space concept also has to be defined by husband and wives. You need to sit together and talk as to what is your personal space and how you want your partner to respect it. Yes, women should go on women's only travel and tours. Excellent. I was actually planning to go for a all women tour because it's actually liberating. You can talk for hours together. I'm sure all women will have a night out and they're talking into the night for hours together. It is very liberating. All of us should go for a tour like that. How and where to stop expecting or putting pressure on your child. See, always remember, when you're actually putting pressure on your child, it is your pressure to be perfect as a parent. Somewhere I am fearing that if I don't bring up a perfect child, I would be shamed. Again, the woman's conditioning. You'll have to run a perfect house, or bring up perfect children. No, you're not a robo to bring out everything perfect. And how easy the creator's work would have been. I'm refraining from using God because there must be people who don't believe in him as well. But the creator, imagine his job would have been so easy. He just had to prepare one mold of a face or a body or a structure, and he just have to go tappa laga ke, this. He just have to stamp and bring all of us alike with the same nose, same face, same structure, same height, same color. Why are we made so different physically? Because we are supposed to be different mentally as well. That's the purpose. So please understand your purpose. And I would always say, for women, you need to have people who inspire you around you, because we kind of lose our goals halfway through. Even educated, uneducated, we just go with the flow. So most women say that we don't have time for ourselves even to think, because early in the morning I get up and I'm kind of lost in the flow till the end of the day. So please take time for yourself to reflect as to how you want to project yourself in each role. As a mother, how I want to be. I can't have the same goals as when my child was 1 year old, right? My goals as a mother has to be redefined. I have to redefine myself when he's 10. So keep redefining your goals in each and every role. That's how you will actually work on yourself, and you will refuse to fit into that box, and you would just say that, if my son is not doing well in maths, that's absolutely fine. For now he's not doing well, that's absolutely fine. So as parents, if we actually give them that trust and tell them that, whether you do well or whether you don't do well, we are still there with you, we love you for what you are. It is just about your behavior, good and bad behavior, we are not okay with. Always point out the good and bad behavior, but never attack the child, never attack them in person. Don't say that you're always like this, you do this all the time, I'm fed up, I'm tired. Don't use these statements. Talk about just that behavior.
So with this, we will close the talk. We will, any questions we can always do after 12 o'clock sharp. So first, a big thank you to Ms. Gayatri. Wonderful topic, a much needed topic, especially for so much, when all parents, whether it is a woman, whether it is a man, we're trying to fit into the world. And many times, in our pursuit for perfection, we blame ourselves, we beat ourselves up. You've been like a breeze, you just came into our lives and you at least said that it is okay. It's okay. You can rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much to you. Thank you to each of the audience. You all have been such a wonderful audience every week. Some of you all have been here. Thank you to the Vishwa Talks team, especially to Prerna, Akhilesh, Rishita, Janavi, Lakshmi. No matter how many breakdowns you have, you come out with a perfect talk.